Hi, I'm Lisa and welcome to my channel, The Southern Seamstress. For all of you watching the US, I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. I know I enjoyed seeing my family and enjoying some wonderful food. But now it's only a few weeks before Christmas, so I need to get busy making and finishing all the sewing gift projects that I've got planned. But before I get too busy doing my own sewing projects, I thought I'd do one more gift idea video to help you with your Christmas sewing. But before I get started, I'll just mention that the sweater I'm wearing is a ready-to-wear sweater. It's not handmade. It's from a company called Garnet Hill. I do love the sweater and I do wish I had the knitting skills to make something like that, but unfortunately I don't. I know that many of you that sew also knit and crochet, and I do crochet some, but my knitting skills are very minimal. But I hope to improve upon that sometime in the future, maybe in a couple years when I retire. I'll have more time because I do love the look of knitted sweaters and cardigans. I thought for this gift idea video, I would share patterns that can be used as gifts on their own or could be used to help package another gift that you would like to give. So they kind of have a dual purpose. I've got 7 patterns to share. They're all free patterns, and I was able to sew up an example of each one of these patterns except for one. I've done 6 out of the 7. I would say that all these patterns are very simple and quick to make, and that can be really important when you're down to crunch time. So the first pattern I'm going to share is called the Easy Basket with 10-inch squares by Sew Can She. So for this pattern, you just need a couple of pieces of 10-inch squares of fabric, one for the lining, one for the outside. And then it does have some interfacing. And depending on how stiff you want it to make it, you can use a stiffer interfacing or a lighter one. I think I've got just sort of a medium weight interfacing in here, but it goes together very quickly. It's got little boxed corners at the bottom that help it stand up on its own. And you could have the top all the way up like this, or I think it's really cute, and she shows it in the picture, I think, with them rolled down. Now this little basket is reversible. It's completely lined inside and it flips out and looks just the same except with different fabric on the outside. I think these would be great to give as a set on their own, maybe 3 or 4 different ones of them. And then according to whatever fabric you use, you can make it look kidsy, or you can make it look like maybe like an office or even a kitchen. This is a great pattern for scrap busting because it doesn't take very much fabric. But if you only want to make one basket, this makes a great little container to put another gift that maybe you're giving the person inside, like maybe a candle or some little hand towels or something. Or you could put a bag of cookies or snacks inside. I think you could easily change the size of the basket by just making your squares bigger or smaller. So that's the Easy Basket with 10-inch squares by Sew Can She. Now my next pattern to share is the DIY Fabric Basket by Sewing Times. Now this basket can be made 3 different ways, and they're slightly different sizes. I chose to make the largest size. Sewing Times has a YouTube video with all the instructions and measurements about how to make this basket. Now you can purchase the pattern for all 3 on their website, but you don't have to purchase the pattern. You can make them all just by watching the video. So I think the smallest size doesn't have any pockets. And then the medium one is kind of like this one, but the little corner pockets I think are on the inside. So this is the largest one, and it is made with quilter's cotton on the inside and the outside. And then I put kind of a medium stiff interfacing in it. The sewing instructions are very simple, but the way it's made forms these little corner cone pockets around it. So you can put little things in here on the outside, and then larger things on the inside. So I think it's cute just the way it is as a gift, as a little organizer, but you could certainly fill it up with some other gifts or goodies for whoever you're giving it to. So I just used some random buttons to sew down my flaps on each side. I think if I was making it for a child, I'd find some really, cute character buttons to put on each side just to give it even more cuteness. So this is the DIY fabric basket by Sewing Time. So the next pattern I'm sharing is a little storage pod by Fabric Editions Inc. This is also a free pattern that comes with a nice little printable PDF. So you don't have to, look at a video or look at the blog post to get your instructions. So for this pattern, you can just print out the instructions and the template. The template's very simple. You're just going to cut out a outer piece and the lining. So it's got this little hook so you could put it on a pegboard like in an office, or you could also put it over like the top of a cabinet handle. Maybe put it in your laundry room or your office, or it would look really cute as a set, maybe hanging in a child's room if you had like 3 or 4 of them. This pattern's very simple to make, and I thought when I was making it that it would be another good pattern to maybe recycle like a pillow-sham, a quilted pillow-sham that you're not using, or just an old quilt. And if you were using like a pillow-sham or quilt, then you would already have the quilt and the batting together. Now you still want a lining so that you could hide all the raw seams. But I thought it would make a good project for those extra pillow shams that we have laying around in our closets. So that's the cute little storage pod by Fabric Editions Inc. I hope I'm not sounding too stuffy and congested on this video. I did put my Christmas lights up outside the weekend before Thanksgiving, so I was out on a ladder outside for several hours for 2 days, and then on the 3rd day after I had completed them, I woke up with a ton of congestion and a cough. And my cough has gotten better, but I'm still a little bit congested. I'm hoping to sound better soon. The next gift idea I wanted to go over is actually a little basket that I saw on a YouTube video about a year ago, and I thought it was really, really cute, and I just now got around to making it. And this pattern is called the Bitty Basket by So Many Creations. And she has a full YouTube video showing how she makes this. And if you go to her video down in the description, she has a link to the free template for this basket, and the template is just going to look like this. So for her bitty baskets, she'll use 2 layers of cork, or sometimes cork layered with heat transfer vinyl. I think she cuts a lot of hers out on her Cricut or whatever kind of cutting machine she has. And if you do have some sort of cutting machine, she does offer a SVG file, but it's $3 for that file. And then she has some sort of like hard acrylic, I think, template for sale that's this pattern piece. Now I do have a Cricut machine, and I think if I was going to be making quite a few of these, I would go ahead and spend the $3 and get the SVG file. But for this video, I wanted to make one that you didn't have to have a cutting machine, and you didn't have to have any cork or heat transfer vinyl. So I wanted to make it out of something maybe that was less expensive and just easier to have on hand. I also wanted to use something that didn't fray, because these 2 layers are just put together and then top stitched around. So I had quite a few squares or rectangles of just regular felt. So that's what I used. So instead of cutting out the 2 pieces separately, I put the 2 pieces of felt together, added a little adhesive spray to the inside, or you could take a glue stick and kind of keep those 2 layers together. So I had my 2 layers together, and then I traced my template around it. Now when she joins the sides together, and you would match up the little holes you see here, fold them over. She uses rivets, but you can also just sew the pieces together, like hand sew, maybe with some embroidery thread or something. And you could always add like a button here. Now mine looks like a button. It's actually a little metal stud. It looks kind of like a thumbtack, except that the post splits so you can fold it back on each side. I had a bunch of those left over from my card making days, or maybe scrapbooking, one of my old hobbies, and I thought it would work well. Now, I had some that the little spokes were not long enough to fit through all the layers of felt, but I found these were just barely long enough to hold it all together. So that's what I used. But like I said, you could just, hand sew it, maybe with some little embroidery floss, or just sew a button on there. Now this is a pretty easy project. I would say the hardest part, if you're not using a cutting machine, is probably, getting a nice little cut edge on these little handles, cutouts right here. Now she does say you can make the basket without even cutting out the little handles, but I think those little cutouts are just really cute. So when you have your two layers together, you're going to top stitch around the edges, like about 1/8 of an inch. And that's pretty easy. The hardest part on the top stitching is trying to go around this little oval and make it look exactly straight, because it's just such a tight little curves right here. And she said sometimes when she's doing like the cork or the vinyl, she doesn't even top stitch this little opening right here. But I felt like since I had the two pieces of felt, I probably needed to top stitch that to kind of keep it all together. So I think my basket turned out really cute. I think these would be really cute to use for teacher gifts or hostess gifts, or like even party favors, that you could fill them, with little treats on the inside. Or you could even put like a little potted plant, to make the little succulents with the little bitty pots, and you could put that in there and give it to them. So I think you could come up with really cute ideas for this. And if you really wanted to take a lot of time making it, I thought it would be cute if you would hand embroidery like a little blanket stitch, like a little skinny blanket stitch around the edges. And you could also embroidery like some pretty little flowers. I think that would look cute on the felt. But anyway, that is the Bitty Basket by So Many Creations. Now the fifth pattern that I wanted to share, it's also another basket pattern, and it is the one pattern that I didn't have time to get made. But I thought it was cute and really useful, so I thought I'd include it in my video just in case you wanted to make it. And it is the Tiny Treasures Basket and Tray. This is by Anna Graham of Noodlehead Patterns. It's a free pattern, and it has very nice PDF instructions to download. And like all the Noodlehead patterns I've seen, the instructions are written out very well and easy to follow. This pattern includes two different versions. One is referred to as a basket and one's a tray. So for the tray one, the sides are not as tall. So the dimensions for the tray version is 8 inches by 6 inches by 2.5 inches. And the basket one is slightly larger, it is 10 inches by 10 inches by 4.5 inches. So that one is pretty roomy, so you could use it to package a fairly large gift if you want to give something with it. The basket and tray have curved darts on the bottom of them that give the sides like a curved finish, but I think make them look a little different than from a regular tray or basket that would have just a boxed corner. I was looking over the pattern, and it looks like it calls for just some quilter's cotton for the inside and the lining, and then it uses both medium and stiff interfacing. You're going to put, I think, the stiff interfacing to one of the pieces, and then you're going to apply the medium to the other, so that's going to give the basket or the tray quite a bit of structure. And for her, she uses some pieces of faux leather for the straps, or you could probably just make those out of the quilter's cotton also. So that is the Tiny Treasures Tray and Basket pattern by Noodlehead. So we're down to the last two pattern ideas, and these are a little different. They're not baskets, but they can be used to hold other gifts. So one of them is another pattern by Sewing Times, and it's this cute little fun accordion pouch. Now, like the other Sewing Times pattern I showed you, this one too has a full YouTube video with all the instructions and all the measurements. And she also has pictures and instructions on her website if you just want to refer to it. I kind of looked over the written instructions, and then I watched the video and just kind of paused it as I went along. She does also have this pattern to purchase if you want like a nice printable PDF pattern and template. Basically, this pattern is just a bunch of rectangles, and you're going to cut out an equal number of rectangles in the outer fabric, which is just quilter's cotton, and then the lining fabric, and also whatever type of interfacing that you want to use. There is one rectangle piece that is longer, and it's the one that includes the little flap that comes up, and you're going to just round the corners on this one, and the other rectangles just keep their square corners. I think it turned out really cute. So she shows you exactly how to sew the rectangles together, but when you do it, it makes this accordion that's got 5 main compartments. And also the centers of these, they're open too. So technically, I guess you could put something in these little inner compartments that are formed when you sew your rectangles together. But I think if you filled those and the 5, it would probably be too bulky to snap together. And then mine is closed with just a little cam snap. I put a metal one just to make it sturdier than the plastic, but you could use the plastic. I think for her, she just hand sews a snap onto it. And then if you didn't want to use snaps at all, you could actually use Velcro and put that on there. So I think this makes a handy little pouch as a gift by itself, or you could certainly fill it with some goodies, or if you just had like a gift card you wanted to give the person, you could just stuff the gift card down in the front. Or sometimes I give my dad like multiple gift cards, like to different places to eat. Now you could like stuff, use different pockets to stuff the various gift cards. Now the finished measurement of this little pouch is 5 inches by 5 inches, and then when it's and then 1 inch on the side when it doesn't have anything, bulking it up. I also thought this would make a cute little traveling sewing pouch. Put some threads and needles and pins and maybe a pair of little scissors that would fit in here, and then give that as a gift. So that's the fun accordion pouch by Sewing Times. So that brings me to my last gift suggestion. I know if you're like me, you probably have several people that you give a gift card to. And this last gift idea pattern is perfect for putting that gift card in. And it is the wallet pattern by So Can She. Now this pattern comes in 2 sizes, a small that's 4.5 by 3 1/4 inches, and a large that's 5.5 inches wide by 3 3/4 inches tall. And I decided to make the large one, so I thought it would be more usable for them to use after they've used the gift card. So the instructions are free on our website. Now you can purchase a PDF with the instructions in the template for $3, I think it is, or you can subscribe to her free email newsletter that she sends out each day. And each day when she sends it out, she offers one of her PDF patterns for free. And that's what I had done. I had downloaded it one day when it came out. So that way I have a nice printable instructions, but you don't have to have the printable instructions. You can just look at her blog, and then the pattern templates are free. You don't have to pay the $3, but if you do, they'll be included with the instructions. So this was the small one, and I used the larger one. You can see it's just a little bit larger. This is a very simple pattern to make. You're just going to cut out 2 of these. This is placed on the fold, so it's going to be twice as wide. So you're just going to cut out an outer piece and an inner piece, and I used quilter's cotton for both. And then you're going to want to use some medium stiff interfacing. Now the interfacing is going to go on both pieces of the fabric. So after you put the interfacing on, then you're going to put right sides of your quilter's cotton together. You're going to sew around it, but then you're going to leave an opening on the bottom, and then you're going to turn it and top stitch all around. And when you do that, you'll be closing that opening. And then the flaps, you're just going to press one flap over this way, and then you're going to press the other flap this way, and then you just have to top stitch from this side where the 2 sides meet below the curve down to the corner, and then just across. And you don't have to stitch this side because it's on a fold right here. So when you fold it like that, the inner flap divides it into two compartments. They're both the same size. So you'll have this and this. So for your gift, you could, put a gift card in it, but then afterwards they can use it as a little wallet. So it has enough room for your ID and some credit cards, but it would also have room for some paper money inside. I think this is a great opportunity to use some really cute little fabrics, coordinating fabrics, and the pattern doesn't take a lot of fabric, so you could use your scraps, and it would also be easy to personalize for each person that you're giving it to. I just decided to make this one kind of a neutral with this black and gray and white design. So that wraps up my last gift idea video for 2024. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, I would love for you to give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below which one you like the best and which ones you think you might make up this holiday season. Now, all the gift ideas in my videos are not just great for Christmas, but good for all during the year. I think these are all perfect for any time of the year when you need a gift for like a wedding shower or baby shower or a birthday or anniversary, or even as a hostess gift when you're going over to friends and family. So my sewing plans for most of the rest of December are to complete all the sewing projects that I'm making for Christmas gifts. They're all going to be patterns that I've shared in my gift idea videos. I don't want to say exactly which ones they are in case someone that I give a gift to is watching, but I know I'm going to be making some of the kitchen gift ideas, and also some of them are non-kitchen. But everything I do make for Christmas, I plan to film before I wrap them up, and I'll share that video with you after Christmas. Now, if I have any time after I get my gifts made, I have several pieces of clothing that I would like to make. So I'm really hoping to get one of those patterns made up before the end of the year. So thank you so much for watching. And if you haven't subscribed already, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button. And until I see you in my next video, take care and happy sewing.